Hello and welcome to my channel. It's already almost 10 o'clock at night, but I filmed this video already on my actual camera and I didn't like the quality. I feel like it's very grainy, so I hope the lighting in here is alright and you can see everything. But today I'm going to give you some book recommendations based on shows that you have watched. It will basically be 5 books matched to a show, but there will be one book that is matched to a movie, but to make up for it, it's actually matched to 2 movies, so you know, you have a little bit more to watch. Yeah, let's just head right into it. Okay, so let's start with the book and the show that actually made me film this video. So I've read a book for a video, which I really liked, and then I've watched the show right after and I was like, oh my god, that show really fits the whole vibe of the book. So the show is One Day. I'm sure you have seen it on Netflix, where it's about Emma and Dexter, and they meet at college graduation, and then we as viewers, we get like each year one day to see what they're up to. It's always the same day, I think it's in July or June, and it's very cute but also quite sad. And I feel like this book, which is called Olga, which I've read for a video where I read books named after me, just fits the vibe. So I'm not going to recommend to you books basically that are like extremely similar to the synopsis or anything, which I know that One Day is based on a book, but I feel like this book really matches the show. This book is about Olga, and she falls in love with a guy who is from a more wealthy family than her. So it's basically, he's like away for a lot of the time, which Dexter is also in the show. He like travels a lot, and Herbert does too. He seeks for adventure and he's very not very much at rest, and I feel like that fits to Dexter a lot. And yeah, she basically waits for him at home and writes him letters, and then this book also gets quite sad. So yeah, I feel like for real, when I read this book, I've watched the show right after because my sister recommended it to me. She was like, it's quite cute. She was just like a few episodes in. And then I've watched the show and I was like, oh my god, this reminds me so much of this book. Just like from the overall vibe, it's also sad, but it's also like kind of hopeful and cute, and there's a romance, and they're at points very far apart from each other. So yeah, if you like the show, pick this book up. And if you've read this book, then watch the show. But I feel like the books that I'm going to recommend to you are more unknown than the shows I'm going to recommend to you, so it's more likely that you've already watched the show. But yeah, on to the next book. Okay, so the next show is Never Have I Ever. It's also on Netflix, just as One Day, and it's about Devi, and she is basically a high school student and she tries to hook up with the hottest boy at school, and there's a little love triangle with this hot guy Paxton and Ben, who's her academic rival. And yeah, for this show I chose My Mechanical Romance, which is a YA novel about Belle, and she accidentally reveals a talent for engineering at school, and then she's forced into the robotics club, which I know that Devi's friend in the show is also in the robotics club, and this is like kind of about feminism, and I feel like the show touches on that as well. And she is Belle in the book is also quite forward girl, or like very much fighting for her rights, and Matteo is basically, well, we could consider him her academic rival. It's a cute romance love story, and I feel like this is like quirky and nice, just like the show. It gives off a similar vibe, and I feel like you could very much like this book if you liked Never Have I Ever. Also comment below what team you're on. I was like, first season, when the first season ended, I was like, is Ben hot? But in the end I was like Team Paxton. So yeah, that's my point on that. I feel like this is a very controversial opinion because I feel like more people gravitate towards Ben. So I don't know. But yeah. Then coming to probably the most well-known show that I'm going to recommend a book for, which is The Vampire Diaries. So I have to say, I haven't watched The Vampire Diaries in quite some time. And I also haven't read this book in quite some time. And then also I haven't like watched The Vampire Diaries. I haven't watched every single season because, you know, I have watched it a long while ago. And I feel like there are still seasons coming out, or just a few years ago there were some coming out, so I don't know how it went from the early stages on. But yeah, you know, like the beginning of Vampire Diaries reminds me of the beginning of this series, which is Obsidian. The Vampire Diaries, I don't feel like I have to explain it to you, but it's about vampires, high school, Elena, and a love triangle between Elena and the vampire brothers, Damon and Stefan Salvatore, and a lot of other people. It's like dark academia, probably a little bit cringe if we're honest, because it's like an early 2000 show, no, maybe like 2010, 9, I don't know, ish, kind of. But this book is not about vampires. I notoriously hate books about vampires. If you have a good book, recommend it to me, but yeah. I also hated the Vampire Diaries books, by the way, but this is, you know, I'm not very much a big fan of Jennifer Armentrout, though I have read a lot of her books already. But this one is my favorite. I've also read the second one in the series, and I wouldn't mind keep going, but maybe that's like a thing for another day. Yeah, this is about Katie, and she moves from Florida to the gray West Virginia, which reminds me actually also of Twilight, but blah blah blah, you know what, she's a book blogger and there is no internet and whatever, but she meets her neighbor and he is called Damon Black, which, how much more Vampire Diaries does it get? And she doesn't know, like, he is mysterious and I don't know, weird. And yeah, he has supernatural abilities, basically. Not a vampire though. And yeah, it's a romance, and you know, in a small town, there's stuff going on, action. So yeah, it gives off the vibe, you know. I don't have to say that for every book, but yeah, if you like Vampire Diaries, maybe buy yourself a copy of Obsidian. Then we're coming to the next book, or the next show, which is Bridgerton. Season 3 is coming up. I don't know when it's coming out actually, but it will be there soon. And well, I also know that there is a book that is called Bridgerton, and the show is based on. And I have read Splendid lately, which is also from Julia Quinn, and I didn't like it. I've read it for a video, maybe like go check the video out. Maybe there, I don't know. I didn't like it. And I feel like it's a little bit this vibe of Regency romances, even though I haven't read any others. So maybe I have to give Bridgerton a shot. If you say It's very nice. Maybe I'll do that. But I feel like if you really want to get this Regency kind of vibe, balls, enemies to lovers, and very nice, like just a very nice romance, pick up a classic. I've read Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice not too long ago. I've painted the edges also for a video. I really like this book. It gives you everything you're searching for, I guess, when you love Bridgerton, because it's like enemies to lovers. He fell first, and Regency, balls, dresses, very strong woman as a character, very independent, not very much like stupid Regency woman who only cares about like marrying a rich guy. Yes, that's basically this book. And it's also not too hard, you know, like if you're scared because it's a classic, don't be, because if I can get through this, you can. So read the book when you like Bridgerton. And now we're coming to the last book, which I matched up with 2 movies, and maybe for that one I'll show you the book first. It's Comfort Me with Apples. Very short book. I liked it very much. I gave it 4 stars, and it's a Adam and Eve retelling, and it's a weird book. I would say like fever dream, not really, but kind of. I haven't read too many weird books, so I don't know like to classify them, but it's pretty much weird. And it's about this woman, and she has a husband, and everything's perfect, you know, the city is perfect, her husband is perfect, every single person in the city is perfect, but something is weird. And she's like, well, her husband's away on those trips for such a long time, and he comes back and he has this weird look on his face. And then there's this room that he tells her not to go into, which is also weird, but everything's so perfect, so she guesses like nothing's wrong, right? Wrong. Something's wrong in this city and with her husband, and yeah. Maybe by the synopsis you've already guessed, but this very much gives 1, Shepherd Wives, and 2, Pleasantville, which it's basically a mixture of both, because like, you know, Pleasantville is also about the city, everything's perfect, it's called Pleasantville. Everybody there is perfect, nobody has like dark and weird thoughts. And then those 2 siblings, they come into Pleasantville by accident, and then they tell people about sex, about books, about adventure, about like stuff that you can do outside of Pleasantville, that there is even a life outside of Pleasantville. And then the people get color, because the movie is basically in black and white. So that's the first movie, and then the second one would be, oh, I already told you, Shepherd Wives, which is about those wives in the city, and everything's also perfect, and their husbands are perfect. And then basically they kind of find out that it's not very much perfect. And yeah, I would say that this book gives you what you're searching for, or what you have been searching for in those movies. So read it, pick it up, it's very short, you know. Nothing can go wrong. And yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you'll pick up some books that I recommended to you based on the vibe of shows you like, or you start watching a show that I recommended to you based on the books you liked. And if you do, let me know. Or if you've read the books already and watched the shows, also let me know if you get why I chose those combinations. And yeah, that's it from me today. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to me if you've enjoyed and want to keep watching my videos. And yeah, that's it for today. I hope you had a nice time, and we'll see each other next time. Bye bye!